it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in your own. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button down below right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you'll find it useful, helpful, insightful in any way, shape or form, or you find this video of any entertainment value at all, or you just want to give this some channel some love. It really does help me out, and also it helps to raise awareness of asexuality. Well, if you don't know who I am Sandra Mermy, author of this beautiful book, Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. I'm also the founder of Asexualising, the founder of Asexualise Academy. Welcome to tonight's episode. I didn't know if I'd be doing another episode because I've already done one today, but I decided I just couldn't resist because I like to give you an update on my own asexual journey in order to help you in your own. So tonight's video is all about speaking your truth from the beginning, and basically also speaking your truth, from the start, speaking with authenticity, and being very setting your standards from the start, from the beginning of any dating or relationship as well. So it's really important. So what we accept in life is what we get, right? If we accept certain behavior, then we'll get more of the same, right? So in order to change the way people behave towards us in a persuasive manner, we then need to obviously put in place our standards and our boundaries. If they're neglected, ignored, or just looked over, then obviously this person who we may want to date or be in a relationship with is highly unlikely to be a suitable person for us. So, for example, that guy who I kissed, who went to kiss me, the Bangladesh guy who I had a great time with dancing, said that they would like to see me again. And they knew that I didn't like sex, right? But the thing is they told me they don't like sex either, which I told you was basically going to be a lie, And the reason I know it's a lie is because of their behaviour. Now, I know sexual behaviour is not the same as sexual attraction, but they were doing specific things that would turn me on sexually. And if I'm honest, when I looked at them before I even got close to them, I was a bit intimidated by them because I looked at them and thought, you're a highly sexual guy just by looking at the way they were with their looking at me, the way they were with me, the way they were paused with me, their body, their behavior, just kind of everything. When you get a feeling, and you should always trust that gut feeling, right? That gut feeling a lot of the time is right. So you've got a gut feeling and you've got a fear feeling, and you've got to assess at the time which one you think is right. Now, in this particular instance, I thought I would challenge myself because I thought, yeah, I am a bit intimidated by you, because a lot of women would probably think he's kind of a really hot looking guy. He was aesthetically very attractive in terms of he looks like a guy off the street dance movies. And I told you I'm really highly aesthetically attracted to those. I mean, like if you, when me and him together, you can tell he's good looking, but then so am I, And so that's what I thought, I want to challenge myself to have more confidence in my life with guys, and particularly ones that aren't just Indian. Because I think, if I completely restrict the guys I interact with in terms of intimacy just to Indian guys specifically, then I could be missing out. And also, I think it's good to have different experiences of, different types of kissing, different types of guys, so you can really improve yourself and improve yourself in dating and relationship terms. And you can just grow as a person. So it was a challenge for me at first because I was a bit intimidated by him, because he's very, very strong guy in some ways, not so strong though that I was feeling like I couldn't handle him. And that was the main thing, you know. I thought, Sandra, you are a strong girl, you are a very powerful being, and you can handle this guy. Handle meaning that if there was something to go wrong or something that you didn't like, then you would tell him no or stop him, and you would be able to do that comfortably, without, you know, any force. So that was what I did, you know. And I asked him if he smoked. I told you before, before we kissed, because I just wasn't having it. I was actually prepared to walk away at that point, you know, because he wasn't my top aesthetic attraction. You know, Indian guys seem to always be the ones for me, you know, and I still believe I'm meant to be with an Indian guy, you know, whether I prefer to be with an asexual guy, but to be honest, like, heterosexuals seem to be able to do far much more of the kissing that I like, you know, and be really into that. Of course, they want it to lead to sex, which is the problem. But in this instance with this guy, he told me he didn't like sex either, and that was one thing to lie to me about that. You know, it guys do in general, when you go out with them and date them, they do tend, you know, and you're asexual, if you're telling them you don't like sex, a lot of them, you know, if they really, really like you and want to get intimate with you, they'll just tell you, I don't like sex either, which is a load of rubbish, right? And you kind of know that in the dating game, that they, you know, that's what some guys might be, but you hope they'll rectify the situation and not continue to lie. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you hopefully, you know, you hope that, one, they didn't do that in the first place, and two, if they did, they come clean pretty quickly and say, oh, I'm sorry, I was trying to impress you. You know, I do like sex, but I still like you anyway, despite you not wanting sex. Do you know what I mean? That would have been a much better thing, or well, it would be a much better thing not to lie in the first place, and them to just say, you know, I like you anyway, even though I'm not the same as you, and I do like sex, I still like you anyway. I still like to date you or consider a relationship with you. Do you know what I mean? If that's what they really mean. So you have to speak your truth from the beginning. You have to set your standards. You have to tell these people under no uncertain terms that you don't like or want sex. It's really important. I see so many people continuously posting in my asexual dating groups that, you know, continuously posting like, oh, when do I tell someone I'm asexual? When do I tell someone I don't like sex? It's a no-brainer. You tell them up front, right? There is absolutely no point, if you don't like sex, for you to even start dating or have a relationship with someone who doesn't know you're like that. It's a pointless waste of time. Set the standard, as in the thing you don't want to do, and do obviously the things you do want to do. You know, I don't want sex. I told him. He said he likes kissing, and I said I like kissing, which was true. You know, so I already set the standard for that at the beginning. And he was trying to do things that would make me sexually turned on. That's how I knew he wasn't asexual, you know, particularly to arouse me. Like, he was putting his leg between my legs, which is meant to sexually turn women on, because obviously it's touching, can be, if it's up high enough, touching their private part. But to be honest, I didn't really, you know, like, I didn't really try and encourage that. And secondly, it, you know, so I couldn't really get too far up that way. And secondly is, I am just not aroused by things like that, because I'm asexual. I really am asexual. Just doesn't do anything for me. I'm like, yep, that's a leg. Yep, that's a leg. And that's it. And it's like nothing there. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't do anything for me. I'm like, I just inside kind of chuckle to myself. I'm like thinking, is this your attempt to make me turned on? It really doesn't work. And you don't even know it works, because obviously at the time I said I didn't like sex. I didn't say I was asexual then. But I've since been messaging this guy, right? And this is what I mean by setting standards for a relationship from the beginning. Hello, Sam. I couldn't stay away off my live stream. You know what I'm like. I just got to do a live stream. If something's happening in my life, I'm just quick. Got to be on the live stream. So yeah, I'm here. I'm like, oh, I can't wait another day to share what I want to say. So yeah, that's why to just recap the last little bit I was saying, that's why it's so important, you know, because in asexual dating sites particularly, sorry, in my asexual dating groups particularly, and in lots of other groups, I see people are always saying, you know, when should I say to someone I'm asexual? You should always be telling a person up front, right? You're going to have to kiss a lot of frogs till you get your prince. In other words, you're going to have to go through a lot of people that aren't right for you to get to the right one. The right person won't mind, even if they're sexual person. If they're really right for you, then they'll be, you know, they'll accept that about you. They're probably going to be few and far between people that are sexual, not asexual, that can accept that. But, you know, I do believe it is possible in some cases that some sexuals could be with asexuals, because I think that if you can form that strong, deep emotional connection with them and understand them more than anyone else and be really bonded to them, the ones that aren't so sexual, I'd say, probably doesn't really count for them. Not doesn't really count for the guys that desire the sex, just, you know, despite who it's with. So ones that experience sexual desire rather than just a sexual attraction, the ones who want sex and they need it, that this doesn't really apply to them. Those are people that really want it. They have to have sex no matter what. It doesn't matter who they're with. But there are going to be some sexuals, I believe, that, including heterosexuals, that really do want something deep and committed. And if they can get the type of love with an asexual person in terms of soul mate partnership, in terms of that deep understanding, and they feel no one has that bond with them, then I do think a few selective sexuals will be able to have those type of relationships, or relationship, should I say, with another person who is asexual. So, you know, I'm on a journey of being honest. You know, I do feel that, you know, I get a lot more, obviously, affection come my way with heterosexuals. I get really good looking heterosexual young foreign guys interested in me. It's like they step out of my ideal type of look or my ideal way they kiss me, and you know what I mean. It's almost like I write down what I want and here it comes, but it's not in the exact formal shape yet that I actually, you know, need it to be, and it's not quite right. Do you know what I mean? There's always something that's not quite on. But like I said, you're gonna have to kiss quite a few frogs till you get your prince. I do believe that if there's a foreign guy in my city who's suitable for me, I do believe he will go to that club. I keep saying it. I'm so happy I'm going back to it. You know, and I've decided to make the decision that I really need to be there, because when I'm there, I'm so alive. It just feels totally like me. And I notice my body feels good. Like my fibro pain doesn't hurt as much. You know, my legs are not as bad the more I dance, you know. And so, you know, dancing's very good for my body, and it just really increases your confidence being there, you know. And it's really weird how these guys just find me out and they're like, oh yeah, that's the one I want to kiss, and they happen to be, you know, like, I do really attract the guys that I want to attract, just not in an asexual form at the moment, you know. But maybe I'm meant to be with a heterosexual. I'm cringing when I say that because I don't really want to be, but maybe, you know, there's going to be one heterosexual Indian foreign guy for me, and he can live without sex, and really live without sex, you know. I live in hope. I don't, you know, I just think in terms of my the way I love to kiss, I'm a lot more compatible with a heterosexual guy in terms of the way I like to kiss. It's just a shame there's not more asexual guys that I've come across like that, you know. But then I only need one anyway, you know. So obviously I'm still staying on asexual dating sites. I'm still staying on ASAP. I'm still looking for an asexual guy. But in the meantime, you know, I think it's good to have these experiences with these younger foreign guys, because, you know, if I'm going to be with a younger foreign guy anyway, asexual or not asexual, I still need to know things about them. I still need to get good at being confident in saying no to things and making sure my boundaries and standards are respected. So standards are things that you have, so that you want the partner or date or relationship to live up to. You know, they're things that are no good for you and that are good for you, that you want them to be like, you know. So with this guy, not only was he lying about the sex, he also said that he didn't like alcohol, which I know was totally untrue, because he already asked me at least twice last night if I wanted to drink from the bar, which, you know, usually guys get alcohol from there. I don't think he was going to ask me for a water. And I just said, no, I don't drink alcohol. And he's like, okay. So he would have got himself a drink had I been drinking alcohol, but instead he had some of my water, you know. And so, you know, that's not acceptable, you know. Like, if, I mean, okay, if I'm just doing the dating, having a bit of fun, then you could argue, what does it matter whether he's lying? But if I want to set the standard for who dates me and for a potential relationship, which I know he's interested in a relationship because he said he wanted a English girl for a relationship, then, you know, I've got to put in place these standards early and say it's not acceptable to be like that. Because if I don't, that's how he's going to carry on treating me forever and a day. Do you know what I mean? And so really, you need to be upfront and honest from the very, very beginning. You know, there's so many people you're going to have to go through. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to have to go through a lot of guys in these kissing scenarios, possibly dating scenarios, before I find the right guy, especially if it's a heterosexual guy that I'm looking to possibly date, or I don't even want to say be with, because it really cringes me out when I say that. But, you know, like, I've got it. And also it's good for confidence, it's good for self-esteem, and it's good because in the past I let my standards slip with a guy, you know. I let myself be treated how I would never have dreamed to be treated, you know. I end up in abusive situations and relationships that I never want to be in again, you know. And I would prefer to be with an asexual guy always, because I think asexual guys will tend to be more respectful, and, you know, you don't have all that sexual stuff to worry about. They're less likely to lie in that case, do you know what I mean? Because they're not really trying to impress you. And so that's better for me. But, you know, I'm really enjoying going out kissing, you know. It's good for me, you know. It feels great to be doing that again and to actually be attracting the guys that I want, you know, the young foreign guys, you know, in the ethnicities that I particularly like, with the beautiful coloured skin, you know. It's just like you write what you want and you get it, but not in exactly the form you want, you know. And what really did upset me a little bit, you know, a while ago, is one of my Indian asexual friends, you know, they turned round to me and was like, oh, why do you want to be with a younger guy? Just get a baby. It's like, that really disgusted me, because it's like, I don't want to baby a guy. I don't want to be a mother to a guy. I want to have a proper relationship with a younger guy. Do you know what I mean? Who doesn't, who values my experience and my standards and boundaries, but who also brings his own experience, young experience, to the table, and who's adult in terms of responsibility and commitment for his age. Do you know what I mean? And then I'm younger and like going out and having fun with him and dancing. Do you know what I'm saying? So it'll work out really well. I know it will. You know, I'm definitely not attracted to old guys. The more I'm around younger guys in their 20s, the more I know I'm meant to be with a younger guy, and particularly foreign. The less and less attracted I am to British guys. The more I'm around foreign guys, it's just like, it kind of starts cringing me out again why I'm even putting that I might be interested in a British guy, because I can't see me being with a British guy. It feels completely different. I just can't see me being in a long-term committed relationship forever with a British guy. I can't see it. It just doesn't feel right to me. Like, when I'm with foreign guys, you know, I'm very attracted to them. I don't mind being close to them physically. They're you know, I mean, I know I had a British boyfriend for a while this year, which was a bit weird, and I did like it at the time, you know, and I was really attracted to kissing them and stuff. But it just doesn't feel the same as being with a foreign guy. With a foreign guy, I can't describe it. It just feels like right. It just feels like good. It feels like I'm at home, like I'm where I'm supposed to be. I don't know if you can understand that, but it just feels like, I must have in a past life been with a foreign guy, and I'm meant to return to a foreign guy, romantic wise. It really does. It feels like that. It feels like my center is with a foreign guy, particularly Indian, actually, because the Bangladesh guy last night, I was thinking, even if I date you or had a relationship, which I don't think would happen, I'm not going to be satisfied because he's not Indian, and, you know, maybe, and it's not totally the look I would usually go for anyway. But anyway, this is what happened with him. So right, let's go for right. So either this guy can't speak very good English, or he's just ignoring me now. So right, so he asked me to message him, right? He asked me to message him. So when I left you on the conversation last night, he said for me to message him about what days was free, because he wanted to see me like tonight. He said, I can see you tomorrow. right? That's how keen he was on seeing me. And I'm like, no, I can't do tomorrow. I'm working. I've got a course to do for a customer. And I said, I'm an author and I do an online trainer, I do courses. And then they're like, oh, well, I can see you some other day this week. And I'm like, no, I can't see you this week. I'm busy, but I could see you next week, like the beginning of next week. And he goes, I think I'm off Monday and Tuesday. Whichever day you prefer, message me on my, text message me on the phone, that is. And then I'll do whichever day you prefer, Monday or the Tuesday. Now, I forgot Tuesday's Christmas Eve. I thought Wednesday was, because I'm going over to my parents' Christmas Eve for Christmas and New Year. So I didn't realise that Tuesday was going to be no good. So I only left Monday, right? And so, I thought, okay, I can see him on Monday for a date. So this is what I put this morning. So I waited some time because I had a sleep in. I thought, I'm not going to change my life in any way for a guy coming along. And this is what I've really, really been learning, right? Is that don't change your life. Don't change your life for someone who new comes in it, right? Don't start changing your routine. Don't start taking things out of your life. Don't start putting them first, because that's when you lose your center. That's when you lose your self-love. That's when you end up putting them before yourself. And that's when you end up getting these feelings of being out of control and upset and in pain. So I learned not to do that. So it was like 11:08 when I messaged them this morning. And then when you're messaging a guy about stuff that's or anyone, I'm referring to guys because I'm only attracted to guys. I have to say this. So, a lot of these principles applies to whatever gender you're messaging. But as I'm a heteromantic, I'm only attracted romantically and aesthetically, etc., not sexually, to guys. So this is what I'm sharing my experience, okay? So don't think this is just completely gender specific, but I'm telling you from my own experience, because it's important that I, set the scene of what it is. So you must always, when you are saying something that you want to improve on a person, try and do the sandwich effect. So you say really good things of them up front, the things that are not so good you want, you'd like improving, and then leave it ideally with another high, like something good or something, just to carry on knowing more about them, etc. So, for example, this is what I said. I put, thanks for a nice night, full stop. I liked your look, so I'm telling him everything I like about him, so he feels good. Because what you don't want to do, if you're trying to persuade someone to change something they do or improve on what they do, you don't want to put them off, right? You don't want them to feel bad about themselves. That's the last thing you want. So you tell them all the good stuff that you loved about them. So I put, I like your look, your smile and clothes, being in your cuddle and holding hands with you. I also loved the fact you could pick me up. I liked kissing you. Being honest, I prefer deep, passionate, strong kissing with less teeth and more tongue. Obviously, I'm reading the message out I sent him. And a soft kissing with your sweet lips too. So do you see how I'm using the language there? I'm saying exactly what I mean, because, the kissing probably, if I'm honest, kissing the Indian guy before was nicer in the sense that I didn't have all these teeth. Like, it's kind of like, it was turning into more of a little bit of grinding on his teeth, and I don't want that. And I think he was used to maybe biting the tongue in a little bit, nibbling on it in terms of kissing, and I don't like that. So I wanted, if we go on a date again and end up kissing, to him to go away from that a bit. But like you said in the club that I was leading the kissing anyway, I was trying to get him away from this teeth business. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not so nice. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like grinding, you know what I mean? Like, I always like to train a guy how I like to kiss. I've told you that before. So anyway, the sweet little thing which guys who are heterosexual would find quite sexy, because I said about the fact that I prefer deep, passionate, strong kissing with less teeth and more tongue. And the soft kissing with your sweet lips too. So I've used very, very sensual language there. So he will still find that attractive. He will be probably turned on if it's heterosexual, because a lot of heterosexuals get turned on by sensual stuff, not just sexual stuff. Okay. And that includes language you use, the very language. So when I use the word passionate and strong, these are kind of sounds, if you know what I mean. which are kind of more sensual on the ear. It's very interesting when I analyze all this stuff, isn't it? How I know all this. But I'm telling them what the way I like to be kissed in my preference. And I said about the soft kissing, see, soft, and with your sweet lips too. So there's a lot of S's in there. S's, when you emphasize S's in a sentence, it does make it feel a lot more sensual, and probably to a heterosexual a lot more sexy as well, right? And yeah, I'm asexual, but like, I don't mind being sexy for a guy, right? But this is what I said as well. Practice makes perfect with a kiss. So I'm basically leaving it open for him to practice his kissing to get better at it with me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm saying I like kissing you. And I said this categorically of what I like and what I don't like. So I'm setting the standards from the beginning. Now, there are places I like to be touched and others not. So this is very explicit language, right? Without being disgusting or vulgar. I don't like a guy touching my breasts or private part below. And I don't want a guy to put my hand on his penis. I'm being very, very specific so he understands in no uncertain terms. His chest I am happy to touch all over and upper part of his body, not lower. I don't mind pressing against his body when dancing or sitting on his lap or in between his legs. Being close with clothes on I am good with. It's nice. Some parts of my bum I don't like to be touched. I don't like to do these things with just any guy. It has to be someone I'm highly aesthetically attracted to and feel safe with. I hate sex. So I'm re-emphasising the fact I hate sex. I noticed you said you would need to buy me a Christmas present as you like to buy your girl a Christmas present, right? Like I said, I've not said I'm his girl, so I need to set him straight on that. Set your standards from the beginning, right? Set your truth from the beginning, right? If I was in a relationship with you, I would definitely love that. You're welcome to get me a present if you want, but I won't just get into a relationship with a guy I've just met and don't know. Long term, I am looking for a serious and committed, monogamous, no sex ever relationship with the right guy for me. But I would have to know the real him and trust him on an intellectual and soul level first. And I am free on Monday the 22nd for a date. What have you got planned? I actually got the date wrong, so I then messaged him and put, sorry, I am free for a date on Monday the 23rd of December. 22nd is the Sunday. I hadn't realised, hi Naila, I hadn't realised that Tuesday is Christmas Eve and that when my parents are over, that's when my parents are over to take me to their home for Christmas and New Year. So I definitely can't have a date on the Tuesday. So let me know what, where and when you have planned for our date on Monday. Thanks for the kiss. You see, if this guy's a good guy, if he's living in his masculine, as a lot of the dating coaches teach, and if he's a good guy, if he's really serious about me, he would be leading it, right? He would be leading the fact that he wanted to see me again and go on another date, right? He would be leading that. I wouldn't have to lead this, right? Because that's what you don't want. You don't want somebody who said they're really, really interested in you, then basically putting the emphasis on you to arrange the date, right? Or to be thinking what's going on with it. This isn't a good guy when if they start doing that, right? And so I've basically told him I'm free Monday, right? If a guy's interested, he should jump at that opportunity and be like, okay, that's great. Let's meet up then, right? But this isn't how it went, right? So, clearly I've stated where I'm at. And then this is what I put. So I don't know if it's because of his English or if just because he's ignoring what I say, and going his own sweet way. You have to be very careful, foreign guys, because bear in mind, I have got foreign guys who have been my boyfriend before. So I do understand how they work, especially heterosexual guys. And some of them pretend they don't speak very good English, but when they want to, for example, during times they want sex, they're very, 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 very easy to understanding English. Surprise, surprise. So some of them cover up, some of them cover up the fact that they can really speak good English but they just don't want to because they want to be lazy and they don't want to have a proper in-depth conversation because they're all about the artificial, superficial relationship rather than the deep, meaningful stuff, right? So basically, his response to that was very, very short. Thanks for, it doesn't even say thanks for your message. It just says thanks for, you very good girl with a U. I like it. Right, so he's basically saying, I like the fact that you don't want sex and that you're not in, that you set your standards about and boundaries about where you like to be touched and don't touch, right? So I thought that's good. Okay, he's saying he likes that, accept it. So I put, if you want to meet me on Monday, let me know sooner rather than later. When and where and what you want. Oh, where and when and what you want, but I changed it to what you want later. Us to do together. So my calendar gets fully booked quickly and I work a lot of hours too. And then he put Monday, your wish any day. Tonight, today. Tonight, UT, which I think he meant out. So, do you know what I mean? It's very, 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 very short text speak that's barely understandable because it's like, Monday, you'll wish any day. Like, I've already said it's Monday. I'm not changing my mind on that. And then tonight, UT out. As in, are you out tonight? I think he's saying. But do you know what I mean? And I've put, because if you're a person who's got boundaries and standards, you don't want to change your plans at the last minute for a guy. Because what a lot of females do in particular, if we're talking about stereotyping here, we tend to, or even if any person's really keen on someone, not necessarily female person, but if you're keen on someone, you kind of feel like, oh, I've got to drop my plans because I want to see them again. I'm so excited. I want more kissing, blah, 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 right? You tend to feel that way. Guys can get like this over women too if they're crazy about them, but you tend to, that's how it tends to be, So anyway, you mustn't swap your plans and drop them for just some person, who wants to date you or be in a relationship with you, because otherwise they're going to be doing it all the time. They're going to think that their life is more important than you and more important than your life, and that you should drop things for them. And wherever they want to see you, you'll be at their beck and call. That's not good for you, because otherwise the relationship will always be on their terms and not on your own terms, which is what you don't want. Because otherwise, that's like more like a one-sided relationship, And that's a man and woman or whatever genders are in the relationship should be equal as much as possible, right? Obviously, there'll be some ups and downs in that, but it might not be equal all the time. But in general, overall, you should be. If you are just dropping your plans for the other person all the time, they've got all the power in the relationship or in the dating scenario. And you've just given all your power away because you've given all your self-love of what you want to do away. Do you know what I mean? Exciting news. My boyfriend and I held hands most of the time we spent in the library at school. Oh, that's cool. Really, really cool. That's really nice. So you've got to understand that, you've got to understand that you've got to set the standards from the beginning, that you don't just drop your plans for this person, right? This is not good. So I've continued to be strong with them. I can't do this week because I have a course I have to get finished for a customer and still got lots of work to do on it. Monday I can meet you. Repetition. Set your standards, keep them in place. What did you want us to do together on Monday? Go drink somewhere so we can chat and know each other better. I don't drink alcohol, but herbal tea and no added sugar fruit juice I can drink. I am allergic to refined sugars and wheat and some other foods. Or did you want us to eat together or what, right? Which means he should be replying. I've clearly stated, I can do Monday and ask what they want. And then they've put, hi, how are you? I'm not alcohol, which means I'm not drinking alcohol. My good wishes are always with you. What are you doing now? Do you know what I mean? It's like this person's completely kind of dissociated from my messages. So I don't know if it's because the English is bad or if just because they're ignoring completely what I'm saying. Either way, it's not very good, really. But then I said, thank you. I am working on my asexual meetup mastery course for my customer. It's an online video training course for my Asexualized Academy. So I'm now introducing them to the fact that I'm asexual. I'm a hetero asexual in sexual orientation, not heterosexual. So I lack sexual attraction. I don't ever get the need, urge, or want for partnered sexual intercourse, even though my dancing is sexy in behaviour. I love dancing, am extremely romantic girl, and I love tongue kissing like a favourite hobby. And I love cuddling, holding hands, and PDA. And only ever attracted to guys romantically and aesthetically. I just don't want the sex. I was a speaker at the UK Asexuality conference last year, and I write books for asexuals and I have asexual friends. I want you to just be yourself with me, not tell me things you think I want to hear. I want you to tell me the truth. I like both alcohol and I think you like both alcohol and sex. I think this is your truth. I don't like people who are dishonest. So I gave him the opportunity to put this right. So the thing that he told me was obviously rubbish because of what he thought I wanted to hear. I gave him an opportunity to put this right. But this is what he came out with. I'm not like sex and alcohol, right? So again, he's still lying. And I put, why did you ask me if I wanted to drink at the bar then? So instead of him answering that, he just deflected it back on me. Again, this is not a good guy that does this because you're not going to be able to have, open and honest conversations if you to date him or a relationship. You're not going to be able to ask him anything. You're not going to be able to get to his heart, to his soul, to his inner being. It's just going to be a very superficial relationship or dating scenario where you can't really connect with the guy properly, totally, which it might be what he wants is just a physical affection, right? Like friends with benefits in kissing terms, but he did say he wanted an English girl for a relationship basically. So, but you know what I mean, it's like he had the opportunity to say then, well, actually, yeah, I do drink alcohol, but I've decided, like, if you don't like it, I won't drink it around you, or something like that, or, well, I do drink alcohol, but I wasn't drinking it then because I respect you, and tell me the truth. He had the opportunity to reveal the truth, but he didn't do that, And, he wouldn't have asked me if I wanted to drink at the bar if he doesn't drink. Do you know what I mean? So basically, he's trying to turn it around on me. So when I asked, why did you ask me if I wanted to drink at the bar then? And then he put, you tell me I like sex and alcohol. Are you work? Do you know what I mean? So he's basically saying that, oh, you're the one who said I like sex and alcohol. Are you at work? Do you know what I mean? It's like deflecting the question back on me. So that it's like he's not told me the answer, right? And he's making it sound like he's the innocent one and I'm not trusting him, which is kind of psychologically a bit, bit of a red flag to say the least, right? If he's doing that with this type of thing, think what he might do with other things that that would crop up. You know what I mean? And it says, are you work? And I've already told him that I'm currently working on the course, but fair enough. He might be thinking I'm not working anymore because I'm talking to him, right? Fair enough. And I was just on a break to cook lunch while a video process, which was true. I'm looking for a guy who answers all questions openly, directly, and honestly without diversion. A genuine or authentic guy who isn't afraid to show the real him, right? So again, I've given him another opportunity to open up and be honest with me. This is a lot of opportunities, isn't it? And then all he put to that is, I know you, very good girl. See what I mean? I know you, very good girl. It's not about just me being a good girl. It's about if this guy's right for me to be in a relationship. And that's what you have to think. It shouldn't be about them. It should be about you and if they're right for you to date and be in a relationship with, right? If they're after you like they make out they are, it's up to you to see where they're right for you or not, and not be beholden to them. So you've put, I know you, very good girl, 2 night out. Now, is that meant to mean he's out tonight or I'm out tonight? Excuse me. And then he put, you good kissing. I like kiss. I miss you. So, he's saying I'm a good kisser and he likes kissing me and he misses me. In other words, he misses my kissing, which was nice. I like that compliment because I do like kissing, and I do think it's one of my stronger points about me in terms of what I like to do in a relationship. That's why I need a guy who's into kissing, because if you're good at something, you want to be able to do more of it, don't you? If you enjoy it and you're good at it. Like I said, kissing to me is like a favorite hobby, which a lot of asexuals, they just want to puke in a bucket or something at the sound of kissing. They're like, oh, it's so gross. But you know what I mean? For me, it's like a whole art form and technique in itself. Like I said, I'm kissing different guys and they kiss differently, but like this guy last night saying, oh, you like to lead. So he was the first guy I've ever had say outright that I like to lead. I usually don't hear a guy saying that, but I think it's, I was really a bit put off by the teethy thing going on, I'm like, I am liking kissing you, I'm enjoying it, but the teeth thing, is a bit like you need to open your teeth more and more tongue and less teeth. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise it's like you're going like this on the teeth. It's a bit weird. But yeah, it's good that he liked my kissing, and again, that this is all confidence boost, helps to have feedback like this. Oh, you missed the fact that oh, you missed quite a bit. Yeah, that the guy is avoiding answering my questions directly, and he said I'm a good kisser. Right, so so he said, I know you're a very good girl, because I told him I'm asexual as well. I explained all that to him. I know you're a very good girl. Tonight out, you good kissing. I like kiss. I'm you good kissing and kissing. I like kiss. I miss you. So then I said, oh, tonight you are out? Question mark. Have a nice time out. I am working. I work every night unless booked it off. Last night was my night off. Great, you love my kissing. So I'm basically saying have a nice time out. So a girl who isn't jealous and possessive and who is more confident and secure in herself will say to the guy, have a nice time out. I mean, obviously, he's probably going to go out and snog other women, and whatever he's going to do, right? But this guy's Bangladeshi. He's from Bangladesh. But yeah, he didn't initially say from India, but then he said actually I'm Bangladesh next to India. So because he didn't look totally Indian, because that's what I was like, are you in? I was thinking you're not really Indian. And then anyway, so when I said have a nice time, he goes, no, I'm out, but you out? Yes, I'm out. What job are you? Do you know what I mean? And so the conversation is very much the same sort of thing. Like, he's not listening to me. I've already told him what work I do. And again, he's asking me, like the same sort of things. And then again, he's asking me about, no, I'm not out, but you out? Yes, I'm out. Which I guess means I'm out now, but I'm not going out tonight. But are you out? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? And then what job are you? So I feel like it's just going around in circles, and he's avoiding my questions. He's deviating from answering my questions. He's anyway, this is what I sent him, because I thought, I watched this dating coach video, and it's very good about setting standards earlier on in a relationship, right? And dating. It says, if a guy is not valuing your worth straight away, then you should be setting him right from the beginning. And either he will go off and realize he's not the guy for you, or he'll worry about like losing you and step up to the plate and be a better person, value your worth. But if you don't set these standards because you're afraid of losing that person already, they'll just walk all over you, basically. So I thought, and in this video, this dating coach talked about saying, I think you made the mistake of thinking I'm like this other type of person. So I thought I'll try this out and see if it works. But it didn't exactly work. Right? So I think you mistake me for a girl who likes a guy who tells her what she wants to hear, who will drop her plans for a guy and will accept a guy who does not tell her the truth and who does not make plans in advance with her. I am not that type of girl. I know you drink alcohol and I know you like sex. I will not be with this type of girl who is not honest, right? I am looking for a guy who is real and true, authentic self, who is his real who is his real and true authentic self. One who tells me the complete truth about what he likes and doesn't like. One who listens to me. I already told you what job I do and makes definite plans in advance to see me. That includes place, day, date and time, and who sticks to it. A guy who's genuinely interested in me would have made definite plans by now. I'm looking for a guy who wants something deep and meaningful, who answers every question I have in an open and honest way and does not avoid answering my question, does not deflect the question back on me or divert to another question. I don't play games and I don't want a guy who does these type of things and I can't absolutely trust. I deserve the best quality guy for me, both to date and in a relationship. I want a guy who is not just strong physically, but is strong in his mind and soul too. Because this guy's strong physically, right? You're not this type of guy for me, so we won't be having a date or arranging to see each other again. I wish you good luck with dating other girls and finding a suitable English girl for a relationship with you. Then they put, I like you. Really? So I put, if you really liked me, you would have been open and honest about everything from the start and already made plans with me for our date next day. You can't match my needs, which I just explained to you in the previous message. I wish you well. Then he's put, yes. How have you been today? Next day. Do you see what I mean? So I don't, it's like, are you completely ignoring me or do you really not understand English? Do you know what I mean? So I haven't answered him back. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how have you been today? It's like, well, you've been messaging me in the day and I think I've given you such long messages that surely you can tell how I am. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like kind of small talk as well. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing really substantial there. You know, there's nothing to say much about him apart from he doesn't tell the truth and he likes to say what I like to hear and that he likes my kissing. That's about all I'm getting from that, you know? So I just haven't, you know, that was at 10:24 this evening and I just haven't messaged him back, you know, because he's just completely not listening to what I'm saying. He's not listening to what I'm saying about what work I'm on. He's not listening to me about what I want in relationship. I just don't think he's listening to me at all. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm probably just going to have to let him go. Because at the end of the day, if this is how he is at the beginning, what's he going to be like if I start dating him and, you know, well, I can't date him anyway. He doesn't make any arrangements. Do you know what I mean? And if he turns up on Monday, just like, oh, well, today we're going to do something. It's like not going to be on, is it? Do you know what I mean? Because I've got other things to do and I plan to do other things on Monday now. Do you know what I'm saying? So unless he can come up with something like, you know, and have a complete change of like, I'm going to tell you the truth, then it's going to be no go. Do you know what I mean? Because he's got the opportunity to put things right. No, it doesn't sound like it. And you deserve someone you can trust and who listens. I wondered what your view on this was, Sam, because obviously you're good. You're my bestest friend and you can tell me like it is. You know, it doesn't sound like he's listening to me at all, does it? Do you know what I mean? It just sounds like it's just small talk all the time and just rubbish. So, yeah. I think it's a case of that's a frog and I've still got to look for the prince. He's one of those frog people. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he's an improvement on the last guy in the sense that he's actually interested in me. He's attracted to me. He likes spending time with me and he likes my kissing. And he obviously gave me his number. But, you know, because I said I hadn't got his number originally. I said, I can't text you when it's suitable for me to see you next week because you haven't given me your number. And then he put his number into my phone. But I'm sure he's got a lot of other women's numbers in his phone. I saw someone come up first name Mary, so I'm thinking that's probably someone else you met in a club somewhere else. Because I expect he does this with a lot of girls, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, so I just think it's no go really. I think I'm just going to have to let this guy go. I think if I stop messaging him, he'll probably stop messaging me. He'll either do one or the other thing. He'll stop messaging me or he'll get obsessed with messaging me. Probably one or the other. Like, why aren't you answering me? Or he'll just phase out. I think he'll phase out because I feel like I'm doing all the work. You know, if he's interested in me, he'll make plans. You know, if he don't, he won't. And obviously he's not doing that. He's not listening to me. It's just the same thing I'm repeating over again like a parrot. Do you know what I mean? What's the point in that? So, and besides, I really want an Indian guy, not a Bangladesh guy, if I'm honest, and one that, if I was going for a Bangladesh guy, I'd probably want to go for a more aesthetically good-looking one in the face. Like, don't get me wrong, he's what a lot of women think is quite a hot guy. Do you know what I mean? But I think he's more hot in terms of his clothes. Like, the look he's got with his clothes is very gorgeous. He just looks like a guy out of a street dance movie, which I love. But in terms of face, it's quite cute, but he has got facial hair. I'm trying guys with facial hair. It's an experience, I have to say. It's not actually that bad because they're foreign guys, and usually it's like doesn't interfere too much with the kissing. But like, I wasn't the best kiss I've ever had. There was a lot of teeth involved, and that did put me off. I thought I couldn't be with a guy repetitively if this is the way he's going to kiss me, with too much teeth. That's not kissing to me. That's kind of like, well, I don't know what the hell it is. It's a bit like biting type of sense. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's just too teethy. I don't want a teeth. I want a soft tongue, not a teeth. Do you know what I mean? Teeth are quite hard and harsh and dangerous if used in the wrong way. Do you know what I mean? And I know a lot of people who are into kissing, they like nibbling and stuff, but I don't like that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? I like soft kissing or passionate kissing with deep tongue movement, but not the teeth. The teeth shouldn't be in a tongue kissing situation. If you knock teeth occasionally, or if you knock into the other person occasionally, that's acceptable. But when teeth are getting in the way, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like when you have an open fire and you put up a fire guard. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the teeth are like the fire guard. It's like, hang on a minute, I can't really actually get in my full tongue to kiss you properly because your teeth are like guarding the area, and it's like too much teeth. So therefore it doesn't become a very nice, deep, penetrative kissing experience or a soft kissing experience. So with me, I like soft, gentle kissing, and I like deep, penetrative tongue kissing. They're kind of like, the deep, penetrative tongue kissing, it can be strong, but it's not harmful usually. Do you know what I mean? It's not a scenario where I would get hurt usually. But when the guy's bringing teeth into it, it's like hitting, it's like, it's not nice, is it? Because she's like, you're kissing someone's teeth. It's like, I don't want to put my tongue on someone's teeth. I want to put my tongue in their mouth, which is nice and soft and gentle. The tongue's a nice, soft, gentle thing, and I like controlled kissing, so it feels really good. Like I said, I'm very specific with my kissing, but you can normally train a person up, but if the person's not kind of complying totally, like he said, I was leading, so if he's aware of that, he should have let me lead and carry on doing the type of kissing I like. But it's not really a big loss in that way, because I think I can get someone who'll kiss me far better the way I like to be kissed. And then that really is what I want for a dating scenario, long-term relationship. Now, I don't want to be kissed in a way that I don't like and it doesn't feel good to me as much as possible. I don't want it, I don't want it to end up like that, because, I couldn't be doing with teeth like that all the time. It would just be like, well, I'd feel uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just too harsh. You know what I mean? And it was nice though that you said I was a good kisser, because it does really boost my confidence even more. Like, I kind of very confident in that area anyway, but it's good when you've got feedback from a kind of really hot looking foreign younger guy. Do you know what I mean? When you've got, and a guy who's probably got some ego in some way, like he's really, like what the woman would like and desire. He's really the biz. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you've got a guy who's very confident sexually, I guess, very confident with women, saying that about you, you're a good kisser when they say that, because they would not say that to just any woman, because usually the guy does take the lead more traditionally on that side of things. So they might say, I like your kissing, but there's a very big difference to say I like kissing you to saying you're a good kisser. Do you know what I mean? They are two different things. And so I know when a guy who's probably highly sexual guy, because don't forget, I attract all the highly sexual guys, so just by default, most guys who end up coming my way, I know they're going to be the really high sexuals. And like I said, oh yes, Sam, you missed the beginning of this video, but I said that I was intimidated at first, because just by looking at him, I thought, you're a really highly sexual, heterosexual foreign guy, and he's the type of guy that does look very stunning in the way he dresses. Like I said, he's like something out of a street dance movie. He was wearing a baseball cap, like, so clearly he stands out on the floor, because you don't really get many people wearing caps there. Do you know what I mean? I think he was the only one. I've had a guy before, a British guy near me, who was wearing a cap once, and last time I think it was. I think it was last time. Last time, or it might have been the time before actually. But like clearly he stood out with his clothes. Like his clothes were really immaculate, and he wore a gold chain around his neck and stuff like that. So he was very, like strong aura about him. Do you know what I mean? Strong, powerful. And I was a bit intimidated at first, like if I could handle him. And I thought, Sandra, you need to build your confidence. It's up to you whether you let him kiss you, yes or no. If you don't want to, walk away. If you think you want to try that, then give it a go. Right? So I was consciously thinking all this in my head. When I let him kiss me, it wasn't something I did unconsciously, because he was trying to kiss me before and I wouldn't let him. I was like moving my head away. Then I asked him if he smokes or if he does vape, because I wanted to make sure that first. And then he said no. So that's when I let him kiss me. And I was okay with that, because he wasn't putting his mouth, he was going like this all the time before then. But, at one point I thought about walking away from him, because I think he's a bit strong, but not strong as in a horrible, wasn't doing anything falsely, just that I know he was going to kiss me, and I could tell he wanted me to come closer to his body, and I wasn't sure I could do that because he wasn't Indian, right? But I did ask him later. I was like, where are you from? I kept asking, where are you from? And he goes, India. I'm like, India? Really? And then he goes, oh, well, Bangladesh actually next to India. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, all right then. I felt better about kissing him. But it was good for me to try someone different other than Indian, but I still prefer Indian guys. Honestly, I do. I just prefer them under everything. Like everything. I just prefer Indian guys, really. But I think it's good to experience different experiences. So, I am back on, obviously, on the kissing heterosexual dating scene. So it's a very interesting thing. But, I can get far much more of my physical needs met in terms of kissing with a heterosexual guy than, I've been on asexual dating sites now since 2014. I've never actually had an actual date with an asexual person. That's like 5 years, right? So, if you keep doing something, it's not working, you have to change what you're doing, don't you? And explore different avenues that may mean facing your fears and being uncomfortable to a certain extent. I don't mean to say make yourself uncomfortable and do sex. I'm not on about that. But obviously, me even being around heterosexuals, particularly with my past, I couldn't even be near them for a long, long time. In a kissing scenario, is very like pushing through my fears. And like I said last night, originally when he first wanted to kiss me, I was feeling a little bit like uncomfortable in the sense that I was quite intimidated by his sense of aura. He was a very powerful guy, because he was very strong in the way he dressed and the way he looked. And clearly I thought, you're very heterosexual, and how much are you going to try and pull me around? Do you know what I mean? Because guys like that can be very strong. At one time he did start pulling me a little bit. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm trying to turn you around. So he stopped because he could see I was like not happy. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like pulling me. And he's like, oh, I'm trying to turn you around. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then why don't you just ask me to turn around? I don't mind doing that bit. Hi Alex, nice to meet you. So yeah, so that's how it went really. But like I said, if they're not prepared to accept your standards in the beginning of the relationship or dating scenario, then really they're never going to accept it, and they're never going to maintain it and sustain it. This guy clearly isn't going to be the right guy for me ever to be in a relationship with, and there's no point in dating a guy who's just telling you stuff that he thinks you want to hear, like telling me stuff about that he doesn't like sex or alcohol, which is completely untrue. I can just tell by the stuff he was doing and about his aura. And also, I mean, I have been told by a gay guy a long time ago, friend, that I have a sexual aura about me though. So it is kind of like a bit weird. But I think I do come across when I'm dancing probably myself that I do have sexual behavior. I probably do come across like I'm a sexual person until they start getting really close to me. And then I'm like, don't touch here, don't touch there, move your hand away, don't put your hand there. And then they know that there's something different about me. So I think from afar, I look like I'm a heterosexual person. But once they get intimate with me, then they realise there's something very different about me. Like, why is this girl worried about where I put my hands? Why is this girl pulling me away from this? Why is this girl doing this, that, and the other? Do you know what I mean? So thanks for the thumbs up. Appreciate you. So yeah, I think it's important to tell the person up front from beginning, even if you don't use the word asexual, that you don't like sex. And I can't emphasize this enough. There's so many people that worry about, oh, I can't tell them I'm asexual, and maybe, oh, big kisses for the third thumbs up. There's a lot of, like, people who worry about telling someone that they're asexual, but you don't actually have to say the words you're asexual, but you do have to tell them you don't like sex if you're asexual doesn't like sex. That's only fair to them. It's only fair to yourself. Why be something you're not? A long-term successful, happy, healthy relationship is based on you being as authentic as you can possibly be, and the other person accepting that authenticity and sharing their own as well. Because if you're not being authentic, you're gonna feel like you're leading a double life, and it's gonna be very uncomfortable for you, and you're not gonna be able to talk to the person and share your feelings openly, honestly. You're gonna be treading on eggshells with them. You're gonna be putting them first before yourself. You'll be lowering your standards and boundaries, means you'll be open to mind manipulation and abuse. And so these aren't very good things, you know what I mean? You need to be really, really honest. It does, if you really like the guy, yes, I would have loved it if he'd actually said, oh yeah, let's meet up on Monday. And by the way, yes, I wasn't telling you the truth. Even I probably still wouldn't trust him though if he's lied to me already. Do you know what I mean? But we're saying, oh, I wanted to impress you, and that's why I said that I didn't like sex, but I do. But I'm happy to not do that with you. And I do drink alcohol, but I didn't want to drink because, I was with you and respect the fact you don't like alcohol. Do you know what I mean? Or don't drink. That would have been much better. They had that opportunity, but they didn't take it. So this is not a good person, do you know what I mean, to be dating or in a relationship with. In terms of I'd like to kiss him again, yeah, meet him and kiss him, but that's all it's ever going to be. Do you know what I mean? They can't. And, what's the point in giving someone that your kisses? There isn't. He's got to know that if he wants more kisses, he can't treat me that way. Because if I just let him do what the heck he wants and not make plans with me, not listen to me or anything, I'm accepting the fact that he can get away with being intimate with me without putting any real energy or effort into it, without understanding me, without listening to me, and basically just ignoring what I'm saying. So that isn't a good guy to let to be intimate with you. So, I mean, the best case scenario is that, that if you're entering a dating scenario relationship, you don't give all your intimacy away straight away, But in terms of it happening in a club, this is why it's harder to ever get a long-term, serious, committed relationship before meeting someone in a club. But I have heard it happen. I know people that have met their partners in nightclubs. But if you're going to meet someone in a nightclub, right, people don't usually go and do necessarily what I would do and kiss someone straight away. But I like the kissing. It's something that I miss, but I don't miss really, I don't miss the rest of the relationship because I don't need one. I still need my friends, obviously, but I'm talking about romantic relationship. There's nothing else I really actually need apart from the kissing. And so that's why I decided to kiss outside a relationship. I'm thinking, why not? You've been single predominantly, not all the time, but single predominantly since 2011, and you've been on asexual dating sites for 5 years. It'll be 6 years next year. And so you're not getting the kissing you want and you're craving it. And in order to stop craving it and wanting a relationship that's probably going to be no good for me anyway, because I'm too busy craving the kissing, it's better just to kiss outside a relationship, get some kissing experience with different younger foreign guys, be around the people that be around the guys that I'm really attracted to, and then, what's possible and what isn't, and where your boundaries lie and what your standards are. And it can help you build relationship and confidence and dating skills, which I think is vital. I need to learn for myself to have standards and to stick to them and to not get waylaid by this romantic notion of, oh, I love kissing him, and fantasize or think about what might be with this guy instead of telling myself the truth, because that's what we all do a lot of the time. We fantasize, or I don't like the word fantasize, or think, what if this guy was like this, or what if this person was like this? Like, what would our future be like? It'd be so rosy, when we don't actually see the reality because we're so busy with our hormones. Yeah, even asexuals, they get hormonal chemicals going off, even if you don't know that. But I'm not saying all asexuals do, but a lot of us can get, like, even if it's just a kind of like emotions of, like some types of attraction, we can get that. But what happens is these chemicals take over us, take over our mind, and make us do crazy things, or make us accept less than we deserve, because we're so like into the moment. Because I know if I cut off from him, right, I'm not gonna have that opportunity to kiss him again, right, unless he came to a club and I accepted him to do that, which I'm not gonna want to do if he's being like this. Do you know what I mean? Because then he's gonna still think that the standards I can lower when the circumstances arise. So when you say this type of thing, you've got to stick to what you're saying. And that's hard if your mind's playing the fact that, oh, well, I liked kissing and I would like to date. Because I haven't been on an actual date for a very, very long time, like a proper official date. And so, I kind of crave that in a way. I mean, yes, I did have a brief relationship with a guy I was in a relationship with this year, which I keep forgetting about. But, like actually having a foreign younger guy date me, because the guy was British this year, which I don't really go for British guys. I haven't had that for a while, and part of me longs, being honest, part of me longs to think, oh, I just love to go on a date with him and kiss him and cuddle him some more, and go out as a proper like theoretical couple on a dating scenario. Wouldn't it be good to play that role? But then that's kind of how it is. Do you know what I mean? You're playing a role. You're not being true and authentic, because the damn truth is that person can't give you what you want, and they're not going to be good for you to be in an actual relationship with. But the problem is, with playing at a role, you can become that role, because that's how we become anything in life. We learn by practicing these things that we don't usually do normally. So whether that's a hobby you practice, whether that's a new career you practice, whether that's a new habit you practice, what you do is you do something you're not used to doing, and then you do it more and more and more till it becomes like it's part of you or what you're used to. And this is how you can end up in abusive relationships, because you are so in awe of the chemically feeling of, oh, this person really likes me, all these scenarios you want to be in, and that draws you into the relationship, and then you end up with a person that's nothing like what you originally wanted, because you accepted second best in the first place, lowered your standards, all for some chemicals. Chemicals can contribute a lot to our mind and to the way our emotions are. Chemicals do a lot, but that's chemistry for you and biology for you. So you've kind of got to think more logically. That's what I want to practice. I want to practice my being able to say no to guys and moving on and saying next, next guy, because I haven't been that type of person in the past. I've been the type of person that a guy comes along, says a load of rubbish to me, and I just believe it at face value, and I end up either thinking I'm in a relationship with a guy that I'm not actually in a relationship with, or I end up being in a relationship with a guy that doesn't take me seriously, that walks all over me, that treats me badly, and it's just no good. Do you know what I mean? So I would encourage you, if you're in a similar scenario, to however much you like a guy, to think this is, or another gender isn't right for you. If you know in your gut that this person is right. I know in my gut that this guy is not someone I can be with long term in a serious committed relationship, because 1, you can't trust him, 2, he doesn't listen, and 3, I really want to be with an Indian guy anyway. 4, he's got a problem with too much teeth and kissing. I couldn't spend years of my life with a teeth kisser. And I know he's not the right guy for me, because I want an Indian guy, or if I did want a Bangladeshi guy, it'd be a different type of look, really. I mean, I do ideally want someone who doesn't have facial hair, ideally, because I do prefer it aesthetically. But if it was an Indian guy and he hadn't got too much facial hair, it may be okay. I am trying to guys out who are foreign without facial hair. But, like I said, if you listened to me earlier on, I said, I've got this Indian friend who I was really upset and appalled by when they're saying, oh, if you like younger guys, why not just have a baby? I mean, 1, I hate babies anyway. I'm pregnancy repulsed and don't want kids of my own. And 2, it's just a complete insult. There's plenty of guys that like younger girls, but when it's a younger girl that younger girl, well, yeah, I am younger, really. When it's a girl who's older in birth certificate, but a young age, but young in mindset like me, who likes younger guys, then it's kind of like people don't understand it or accept it, or it's taboo or something. And the fact is that, like, he acted though I can't get these type of guys. Like, oh, it's just like, my imagination that I want these type of guys. I've always been able to get these type of guys, but in heterosexual form. I've always been able to easily get younger foreign guys. Younger foreign guys would easily have sex with me. That's the problem. I don't want sex with the younger foreign guys. I like younger foreign guys to kiss, cuddle, hold hands with, date, be very like passionate kissing, but I don't want sex with them because I'm an asexual cougar, not a sexual one. And the reason I like using the term cougar is to separate myself from all the people, from all the, asexuals that just like someone around their age, basically, because I want specifically people to realize that I like younger guys, because it just won't work with an older guy. I'm not into older guys. I have nothing in common with them, and I don't, like, they're just not for me. And so when this guy was making out, like, asexual guy was making out like, oh, you want something that you'll never get because of your birth certificate age, and why don't you just get a baby, which I thought was really insulting. And this person used to be a very good friend of mine, so I was quite shocked. It's kind of like I've always been able to get this type of guy, and then when I mentioned to them a while ago, one was I was with a younger British guy, which I think they were shocked at because of the age, and then I said, with the last guy who kissed me, which was an Indian guy, I said that to him, and he's like, oh, that's great. Like, he's so surprised. And it's like, well, I shouldn't really have to prove anything to him anyway, but I just was so insulted that it's kind of like, I can get younger guys. I've had boyfriends. I had a Afghanistan boyfriend before, a Latino boyfriend before, a Persian boyfriend in the past, and I've dated Bangladesh guys before. So I've dated Bangladesh, Portuguese guy before. So, there's no problem with me getting these younger foreign guys. It's just that I really would love to have an asexual one rather than a sexual one. Heterosexual younger foreign guys are easy for me to get, and they don't really worry so much about age difference, younger foreign guys, because I guess they like the sex and they get quite exciting with an older woman. A lot of younger guys, heterosexual guys, they fantasize about being with an older woman. I don't think a lot of them in that club really know that I'm the age I am anyway, because I just don't look like it. My birth certificate age I am. And the guy last night was calling me girl, which obviously they wouldn't really call you unless they thought you were much older than them. So I prefer to be called girl anyway, in general, in dating relationship terms. And so, yeah, it's really important that, that you speak your truth, live your truth, and you do go for what you want. Like, you could think to yourself, well, how come all these people that she actually did want to attract do turn up? All right, they're the wrong sexual orientation, but I'm still getting the younger guys in their 20s foreign show up, rather than, I don't really get British guys usually unless I'm open to that. That's what it is. When there's British guys in the club, I don't try to make eye contact with them. I don't tend to look at them. I tend to notice usually only the foreign guys. There was one guy yesterday who was British that I noticed, and he did look over my way to much to say, oh, are you interested in me or not? And I looked the other way because I just thought, no, I can't be doing with a British guy. Do you know what I mean? I'm just not aesthetically attracted to him. So yeah, you just make sure you put your eyes on the people that you're really interested in. Do you know what I mean? Not the ones you aren't. Anyway, I hope you find this video useful, helpful, insightful in some way about maintaining, standards and setting yourself up for good standards for yourself in the first place, not accepting second best, and trying to not let the chemical reaction of when you first meet someone and you're like, oh, this feels so good in some ways, to override your mind and then, lose your sense of self-worth and value. I just really hope that every asexual gets to meet their life partner eventually, whatever sexual orientation they are. I do believe there might be a few people out there that are heterosexual that can be in a relationship with an asexual without sex, providing they've got a lot of the other factors included in the relationship, such as, the deep emotional bond and the soulmate connection and the understanding. I know guys really like to be understood. It's one of their top attractions, is that a lot of guys just want to be understood. That's one of the most important factors of attraction for them. So anyway, set your standards from the beginning. If you notice the person is saying or doing stuff that you don't like, tell them straight up, because you've got nothing to lose anyway. But you should keep maintaining your standards and boundaries. And if they can't accept it, then walk away from them and love yourself enough to leave them alone. That's why it's very important you live by yourself, because as soon as you start living with someone, if they're going to treat you badly, they'll just do it when you live with them, because you've got no choice really. But either you put up with the way they're behaving, or you walk out and leave your home behind. If you've got nowhere else to go and you're financially dependent on that person, you're in damn trouble. Which is why I always recommend keeping your own place. And certainly if you're not going to keep your own place, to keep your own finances and make sure you got money put aside. So should the situation arise, you can leave, and you've got enough money to actually go and have a place by yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because I've been in situations in the past where I've paid for more of the bills than my ex, and the other scenario where the other guy, ex, has paid for more of the bills than I have. And when I moved out from living with my last long-term ex, when we did live together briefly, before we split up and then got back together again for a long time, I was left with quite a lot of the bills to pay, and I didn't know if I could afford anywhere to live. But then I found this place, and this place was my saviour. And I've been here for 15 years on my own. 5 years. It's the best place I've ever lived in my life. And since I left my parents, and I just love it here. It's really, really good. So yes, set your standards in the beginning. Set yourself up to win from the start, and keep maintaining those standards and boundaries. I am practicing this myself. It was something I didn't do previously. I did have standards at the beginning, but I let them slip. So this is something I'm trying to actively practice by putting myself in scenarios where this type of situation is cropping up. Is it easy? No. Is it doable? Yes. Is it hard sometimes? Yes. Especially when you're like, oh, but I want to kiss, and I want all the cuddles, and I want the holding hands, because it's just so great and it feels so good. Yeah, so that's what goes on in my head. Like, reality, this guy's not treating you very well, versus the notion of, wouldn't it be nice if this happened, because I really like this, and I am a highly romantic guy. But you must remember, like I said earlier, you have to kiss a lot of frogs before you get your prince. So you have to look to be getting lots of people you're going to either date or be in a relationship with, and not going to be the right ones for you, before you get to the person that is going to be the right one for you. Personally, I prefer to do this via dating than get into a relationship, because I think once you're in a relationship with someone, it's a lot more painful to then have to break up with them. I think it's better that you date someone for a while, or see someone for a while, and then you can get a very strong idea, of whether they're right for you or not from the beginning. This is something I didn't do in the past. I didn't do this dating thing. I jumped straight into a relationship with a person. So I'm trying to do this dating thing more now, or at least, have an attempt at it. I'm very black and white girl, so really I don't like the kind of like in between stage. I'm all right with kissing though, outside a relationship at the moment. I'm good with that. I'm good with going to that club and kissing, but kind of like after the kissing, it's kind of like, what do I do then? Do I see the person or do I not see the person? But this guy asked for my number, whereas the other guy didn't. So I learnt my lesson from the previous guy was ask if they smoke before you kiss them, because I found out the other guy did vape and I ended up getting blister under my tongue. And then also wait to see if they ask for your number. It's always important to be true to yourself and to others and maintain your standards. Yeah, Sam, I think that's really good. That was a lasting message that I wanted to give. So Sam summed it up the better than I did. It's always important to be true to yourself and to others and maintain your standards. Yeah. I was the same with jumping straight into a relationship. I must learn not to also. Yeah, it is really, really hard, Sam. I know we're so alike on some things, not the kissing, obviously, but it is really difficult not to, because I'm a very black and white person. But it's helping me with the kissing outside of a relationship, actually. It is helping me because I'm enjoying it so much. I'm thinking, I don't really want to settle down at the moment. Like, not with any of the guys from club, because more on more likely than not, they're not going to be very honest anyway, because they're going a lot of the time to get sex from there, or sexual encounters. And two is like, it's just helping my confidence, and I'm actually enjoying it so much, kissing different types of guys and having different types of kissing experiences, that I kind of like want to stay single for a bit, because I don't, until I think obviously it'll change when the really right guy comes along, ticks the boxes properly and authentically and completely. But until then, I'm thinking, well, if I'd got into a relationship with this guy, it'd be like, well, I'm going to miss out on all the other guys I could kiss, which might be better for me, because I might have more in common with them. They listen to me more. They speak to me more. They might be better at kissing me. And so I'm going to miss out. Do you know what I mean? I think when you're in that mentality of going to miss out, because if you go with this person, then that the person isn't right for you. Because if you feel you're missing out with other people, then, that person obviously can't match your needs, because if they did, you wouldn't even think about being with another person. But when you're kissing someone like that, you can tell the way they look if they look at other people. You can tell by their behavior what they say. And it's very true of what this other dating coach says that I listen to. You should always pay more attention to the video than the audio. And what they mean by this is you should always pay more attention to what they actually do, so their actions, rather than what they tell you verbally. So the verbal is the audio, the video is the show you, so always what they show you should be more important than what they verbally tell you. So when that guy was saying, I don't like sex, to me last night, he was trying to I don't know if you're on the video earlier or of this live stream, where I said he was putting his leg between my legs, which for a woman, it's supposed to touch your private part and highly turn you on, but it doesn't do that with me. One, I wasn't getting him get too far up there, but I think he might have touched maybe a little bit. I don't know, but it felt like so of nothing. I couldn't even feel it. Do you know what I mean? But I was very aware not to sink down into that. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously if I sink down to it, I'd be right on top of his leg. So I was being very careful to not get too near him in that scenario, because I don't really want that happening. But do you know what I mean? If he was trying to do that, it just didn't do anything. And as an asexual, I was just thinking, this does nothing. I was thinking, yeah, that's your leg. And it's like a wooden clog or something. I've described this before, like with my asexuality, like these type of feelings are just like someone's got a wooden clog there. It's like there's nothing there. It's like it doesn't do anything for me. It's very interesting. I'm finding the whole experience very interesting, because I usually have high levels of arousal through kissing, and I'm not getting that anymore. I don't know if it's because of the scenario we're in, or the fact I don't let them touch me in certain places, which would arouse me. But usually I used to get aroused in and of the kissing itself, but I'm not really getting that anymore, which is bizarre. It's a very weird feeling. It's like there's nothing but the kissing, but I do like kissing, so I'm just still enjoying it in and of itself, but it is very bizarre. I like to prefer kissing the guy before the Indian guy, but I think I could feel this one more in terms of other sensations, I think. But yeah, it's a very, very weird experience when you're consciously aware you're asexual and you're in situations with sexuals who are trying to get you turned on. It's like, it just doesn't work. It doesn't do anything for me. It's just like, I don't experience sexual attraction, so it doesn't matter what you do. But, like asexuals can still feel aroused, but I just don't a lot of the time in those scenarios. I get more aroused by myself than I do with any guy, to be honest. I just think I'm not roused by many guys anymore. I don't know, but I think like if I was letting them touch certain places, that'd be different. But I'm not letting them touch those places. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't be aroused by them. I'd be aroused by the thing they're touching. But you know what I mean? But I used to be so aroused over kissing alone, but I'm not really getting like that anymore. It's a very bizarre feeling. I'm like, what's going on? But I'm not sure with that. Maybe it's just I haven't found the right kissing partner yet. Try me when I find the right, or maybe it's because they're heterosexual. Maybe if I had an asexual kissing me, there would be less fear surrounding that, because I wouldn't have any worry about it leading to sex. So therefore, maybe I would be more actually physically aroused by that. Not that it really matters if I'm not, but maybe I would, because I have no fear of sexual stuff going on. Maybe I've got some underlying fear, which obviously I do have a bit, that that the guy might be thinking about having sex with me, probably always thinking that, and sexual, feelings from him. And maybe that's like, although I'm not feeling consciously fearful like I used to, because I got to the stage before I found out I was asexual, I couldn't even date a guy anymore, couldn't be kissing one because I heterosexual, because I feel like wetting myself, the expectation of sex at the end of the night. But these people, these guys, although they're highly sexual, none of them have asked for sex at the end of me kissing them. None of them have gone even remotely near that. So that's kind of made me feel more confident and happier and secure and safer there. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they wouldn't do that if the scenario was different, but I'm just saying in that particular case, I'm feeling more comfortable and better, which is why I think I'm okay at kissing a heterosexual again, because I'm not feeling out of my depth. And any guys that come near me that I do feel completely out of depth with, that's going to be aggressive, I just don't go near them. So it's very interesting to see this, because it's something I've never actually been able to do for a long time, just kiss heterosexual guys that I don't even know. I mean, there was one scenario. So I have to say, with the exception of one, there was a guy I kissed just in the street. That sounds so bad. I was on the way to my vet's actually to pick up medication. There was one guy that walked past me and we caught eyes and we started briefly chatting. And then before I know it, he was trying to kiss me. But I'm like, do you smoke? He said, yeah. I said, I can't kiss a smoker. And now I was going off again. And then he started saying, I want to have sex with you. I think he used a fuck you word. I'm like, no, I'm not up for that. I'm off. Bye. Do you know what I mean? Which was, I told my parents that. They were very disgusted. They're like, how could you do such a thing? It's like having sex on the corner of a street. I'm like, no, it's not. It was just a kiss. I didn't really full on snog him anyway. Do you know what I mean? I don't see it like that. It's not no different to kissing a guy in a nightclub, but it is for me, because a guy in a nightclub, I kiss passionately. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was having sex with the guy. It's just something that kind of happened, that I allowed to happen. No, I don't believe in this just happened business. It's what you allow to happen. Do you know what I mean? That time I wanted to have a kiss because it's hard when you're asexual and you love kissing. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Like, you know what I mean? Just sit around waiting for the next few years to actually kiss someone in the hope that you'll get another asexual person that might love kissing as much as you. Like, how do you satisfy a kissing need? You can't really, apart from you can kiss yourself, but I do that. But, there's only so far you can get with that. So I think, you've got to think of what you need personally. And if it's physical stuff, some heterosexuals have to have the sex. I don't have to have the sex, but I do love the kissing, And so, that's what I'm allowing myself to do, because outside a relationship is proving very interesting for me. Very interesting. It's like I haven't experienced this type of thing for a long time, but it's good for me in some ways, because I am getting to be with the type of guys, younger from guys, that I want to be with. I'm getting to spend some time with them. I'm getting to be in, like they do cuddling and stuff like that, on the dance floor. It's not all about snogging. They're like, they'll like put their head on my shoulder and hug me tight like this. This is on the dance floor, which I don't remember it being like that years ago. Maybe it's just the way I am with them. When I was in that type of scenario before, but they're all really good at cuddling as well, not just the kissing, which I really like, and as human beings, we do have this need for human connection, and sometimes that is touching in some way. It's a hug or a cuddle or a stroke on the arm. As human beings, we do need that, a lot of us. Obviously, there are some asexuals that are touch adverse and they don't want someone anywhere near them. So I'm not talking about those. But, as a human being, sometimes we just want to cuddle or we want to kiss, and you have to find out the best ways of doing that for you with the least harm to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I personally, although I could kiss a guy in a nightclub, a young foreign guy, but this club's very specific. I mean, they play foreign music. They got security guards there. It's a nice family atmosphere, because it's usually a family pub in the daytime. So it's not like it's a complete club look. So they've got a bar. When you first go in, they've got tables and chairs where people are drinking at. So it's a bar, and, like a bar pub place that turns into a club later at night with a DJ, So it's kind of like got a family feel to it. And the security guards are there. I see them regularly when I go in. And that everything's good there. I feel safe there. Like when I go to like proper clubs, which I haven't really been to for a long time, there's a sense of it really is like more clinical, in the sense it's very much just about what you look like more, and it's more superficial, I think, and it's a bit more like, it feels different. It's got a bit different vibe, but this particular place has got a very comfortable, safe vibe for me. So I feel really, really secure there. I feel like, I feel like I'm safe there. And if there's any real trouble, I could tell the security guards and they'd sort it out for me. Do you know what I mean? And I think being in that environment, there's less chance of those things happening anyway. I'm not saying they don't happen. I have seen some reports of things happening with fights in certain instances, but in the main, I feel very safe there, and I just think it's such a good atmosphere, and I think it's important for me to be able to test these things out, but it's like, if you are craving well, it's not really emotional intimacy, isn't it? If you're craving emotional intimacy, probably better to like have friends. But if you're craving like more physical intimacy, then you've got to work out what scenario. Especially, I mean, I couldn't do a cuddle group, even though I can cuddle a guy in nightclub. I couldn't do like these hugging groups, these cuddling groups. I couldn't do that. I couldn't go around hugging and cuddling strangers and just specifically going to a place that was for that. But there are asexuals that do enjoy doing that. That isn't me. I can only be very specific who I want to cuddle or be close to, and they are younger foreign guys, because I do wish to be in a relationship with one eventually. So I can't just hug someone or cuddle someone obviously I hug my friends to say hello, goodbye, but I can't hold a cuddle. I can't hold a hug or have a cuddle with just a friend or stranger. That to me, is not a good scenario to be in. And so these particular people are ones I'd like to be in a relationship with potentially. And so that's what's different for me. It has to be someone that I could be intimate with in an intimate relationship. So it's like the intimacy that I share with them is something that's genuine and right in its place, because it's something I'd like to develop more with them, one particular guy at a time, or ideally to be in a relationship with. But like I said, I'm having fun just experiencing things with different guys. I suppose eventually when I get fed up with it, it'll be a different scenario. But if I'm actually enjoying doing that, if I'm actually like not, tied down to one specific guy, especially when I haven't got any good guys coming my way at the moment, specifically to be in a relationship with, I think it's better to just carry on doing what's feeling good, It's like, wow, like last night it was like listening to music. It was a lot of 90s, not just modern music. There was this song "I Ain't Your Mother" coming on, which is really funny. It's a song it's talking about a woman not being a mother to a guy. There's lots of girls shouting that out yesterday. But like I do feel I'm in the right age group. A lot of them are in their 20s, early 20s. Some like 19 that go there. And I just feel like that's my age group I'm supposed to be around. Like I feel I fit right in there. I feel like I am like that age. Do you know what I mean? I certainly am in my mind. I just feel I fit in really well there. That is the best place for me to be. And I feel so alive, like the music's alive, not early on because it's salsa and it's quite quiet and slow, but later on it gets really busy, it gets a good vibe in there. Everyone's jumping up and down, everyone's dancing. Some of them dance crazily like I do, but in a different way. And it's just really good fun, everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet. Everyone's there to have a good time and have fun with their life. I mean, there was some guys that were really loud, and I was worried when I first went there last night because they were over there and they were kind of shouting stuff, but they seemed to calm down later on, which was good. And other people came along, and it's just like everyone's just having such a good time. And I think that's what life should be about. You should be out enjoying yourself, having a good time, living in the moment, because you never know when your life's going to be up, and if you can't enjoy it in the here and now, it's not going to be very good. That's why I like the fact that I'm allowing myself to kiss outside a relationship, because I'm enjoying the fact of the here and now and being able to have that intimacy again that I've missed. I do miss that kissing intimacy. I do love kissing so much. It's a very big need of mine, but I am amazed at how many of the guys that are not asexual do like cuddling me. There's so far all that the Indian guy that danced with me twice, even though he doesn't kiss me on the lips, he's kissed my forehead before, and he does do really nice cuddling, and he always gives me a hug goodbye usually. The last Indian guy who kissed me, he was good at cuddling, but not as good as the first Indian guy that doesn't kiss me. And this guy last night was good at cuddling me, probably a bit more than kissing actually, because he was too much teethy kissing. But I did really like the kissing as well, because it was kissing. So yeah, that's my summary really. So yeah, I would say it's worth trying new things, but bear in mind you've got to be a strong person to do this. You can't be in a heterosexual environment and let them rule you. You've got to be very strong that you don't want sex. This is your boundaries. This is where they can touch. This is where they can't touch. This is what they can do. This is what they can't do. Before you go in there, you got to be prepared to state your truth and say that you don't like sex. Even if you don't want to say you're asexual. Because I know a lot of people that have such a big problem with saying the word I'm asexual. It's like, oh, people don't need to know that. They might not need to know that, but they need to know you don't like sex. That's why I used to say years ago, I don't like sex, because I didn't know I was asexual. I didn't know the term asexual. So just say you don't like sex. Everyone is perfectly entitled to not like something, and that includes sex. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong in that. Do you know what I mean? Like, some people might look at you a bit weird if you mention the word asexual, because they don't know what the hell it is, and A in sexual kind of like people think it means you're a sexual person. But if you say I don't like sex, it spells out exactly what you mean usually, unless you're an asexual that doesn't mind having sex. But you know what I'm saying? If you don't, then it's best just to spell it out to them. I do not like sex. I'm not interested in sex. Because when he said last night, I'll he took a picture of me and him, and he said, oh, what's your number? I'll put it in my phone. I said, I don't like sex. I don't want sex. He goes, oh no, it's just like meet up as a friend. That's what I actually initially said. And I'm like, oh, okay then. But then he started saying, I don't like sex, but I like kissing. Do you like kissing? I'm like, yeah, I do like kissing actually a lot. That's how the conversation went. But obviously he's lying about them not liking sex. Do you know what I mean? Because he was trying to sexually turn me on. So anyway, yeah, I think I've covered most of it. But like Sam says, it's always important to be your true self and to others and to maintain your standards. It's really important. And I think this is why I think it's so difficult to ever be married, and why I don't want to get married. Because in a marriage, you're kind of stuck with a person. And if they decide to not maintain your standards and boundaries and kind of walk all over you, you're stuck with them in the contract then. You're tied and bound to someone by contract that's decided to change, because you can't change another person. You can only change yourself. So it's a lot harder to walk away if you're married, because you need them to sign divorce papers if they're not treating you well, right? Because if you don't get married, you can just walk away and say, I've had enough of this. I feel there's some more leverage when you're not married. I feel there's some more like it's more saying, well, if you don't abide by my standards, if you don't treat me how I want to be treated, then I can walk away and I can do it easily if I need to. Whereas if you're married to a person, it's a lot more difficult. And I think a lot of people take people for granted in relationships, and that's when a lot of trouble starts happening. A lot of trouble. So that's why I'm not into marriage. I don't want marriage. In the romantic sense, I do. In the romantic notion of, oh, get married and live happily ever after with my Indian guy. Wouldn't it be so amazing? Yeah, that part of me does. But I just imagine if I married an Indian guy, they turn out to not be the type of guy they were in the beginning. They want everything their way. They want me to cook and clean for them. When I didn't do it, they would get angry with me or peed off. And do you know what I mean? And they just started like really not liking me being myself, and they were angry with me all the time because I didn't play this little housewifey role, and that they were saying, oh, it's fine, not to do that. I'm okay with that. I'm an equal guy, but as soon as you get married, that's it. Do you know what I mean? You'll be very, very careful of these things. I don't trust many people like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't trust them not to change, because people do change all the time. What happens when you grow apart your marriage and you're literally licensed to them? Do you know what I mean? And if they go off, if they just disappear, you can't get a divorce from them just like that, unless you want to go through huge court proceedings where the court people or legal team can track the person down. It's a nightmare. I know people have been through this type of thing. So yeah, that's why personally I don't like the idea of marriage. I don't. I want to be able to have the ability to walk away if I need to and not be tied down by a contract. If a guy loves me and wants to be with me, should be with me without a piece of paper, and should maintain the standards and boundaries that I set with him in the beginning, and should still have respect and love and value me. It's important. Anyway, I know there are people who want to get married, so I do take my hat off to you. And I know that of an asexual couple that are highly in love and are good for each other, and I know the guy well, so he's not going to take advantage of his girl. So that's a very good scenario to be in. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, found it useful, helpful, insightful. Thank you so much, Sam, for watching it all the way through. I really appreciate you as a friend, as always. Thanks to Naylor, who came and watched earlier. Thanks to Alex as well. I know there's been someone watching this live stream since the beginning of time here. So I've been going for like over an hour and about just coming up in an hour and 40 minutes now. So I want to give you lots of love as well. And thanks very much for the thumbs up. If you anyone else is watching, you want to give me a thumbs up, please give me a thumbs up right here, right now. Really helps to raise awareness of asexuality and helps to develop this channel further. And don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed, to hit the great big subscribe button down below right here, right now. And please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live right now. I'll post a new video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Oh, bye, Sam. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciated it. Thank you. Thanks for your opinion as well. I really, really appreciate this. And until next time, brace your quirky and each other's. I'll see you on the next video or live stream. Thanks very much. Bye.